This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so on our today's objectives, we're going to cover filters, conditional formatting, pivot tables, and statistical analysis. This is a continuation from my beginner class. My name is Alice Olwatch, but you can get to understand even though you didn't get to attend my previous class. So we're going to learn about filters, conditional formatting, pivot tables, and statistical analysis. So filters allows you to view specific rows in an Excel spreadsheet while hiding other rows. We're going to look at the aims, the types of filters, the application, and how to remove a filter. So the types of filters, we have number filters, date filters, and text filters. When it comes to number filters, there are options, there are simple numeric options such as equals, does not equal, greater than. So if you select one of these options, Excel will automatically open a dialog box in which you can specify up to 2 simple numeric conditions. For example, top 10, it displays the rows containing the top n values. Above average, it will display numeric values that are above the average value. Below average will display numeric values that are below the average value. Custom filter will enable you to create your own new filter that you want to be met. Then date filters, for example, you have today, yesterday, tomorrow, this month, last month, next quarter, and last quarter. So we are going to go right ahead into a practical session of how to go about these number and text filters. Those are the main ones that you usually use. So let's see how we're going to do it. So when you want to practically do the number and text filters, this is a given example of a data set. So you come to cells, you highlight the cells, then you go to, in this home tab, you'll find the sort and filter here, then you click filter, then you apply the filter. That enables you to apply the filter. You'll notice that there's this drop down that appears here, meaning that a filter has been applied to the cells column. So when you want to further apply another filter, you right click on any number in the cells column. Then you go to the option filter. Right. You click on this drop down, then you go to this, it will bring number filters. And then you go to the options. We have equal to, does not equal to, greater than or equal to. We can say greater than. Then it will open a dialog box that will enable you to put an option that you want. So for example, if you say it's greater than 10,000, then we'll click OK. Sorry, I put 1,000, so I'm supposed to put 10,000. You click OK, it has filtered values that are greater than are from 10,000 going onward. So we have 16,000, 14,000, here 10, 12, 18, 14, and 19. So those are the values that are greater than 10,000. That is an example of a number filter. When you want to do a text filter, you can come to this one with last name. It has names, so those are basically text. We go to filter to apply a filter. When this thing that looks like a drop down appears, meaning you have automatically applied the filter to this column. You click it, then you go to text filters. You can say that equals to, you can say Smith. Then you click OK. You'll be able to see all the cells that has the name Smith. That is how a text filter occurs. So that is how we are able to filter data that has numbers or that has text. So we've seen the options for the number filters, how it's done. Date filters, you just also do the same. When there's a data with date, you just apply a filter, then you click on that arrow that looks like a drop down, and then you go and apply a date filter where we can have this month, next month, yesterday, or today. So let's go right ahead and learn a little bit more on conditional formatting. Conditional formatting enables you to highlight cells with a certain color depending on the cell's value. So the difference between conditional formatting and filtering is that in conditional formatting, you're able to highlight the cells that meet a certain criteria based on what you have set. But when it comes to filters, it gets to just show any data that meets certain conditions that you set. But in conditional formatting, you're able to highlight cells that meet a certain criteria that you want. So on conditional formatting, you go to the Home tab. In the Styles group, you click Conditional Formatting. Then when you click Conditional Formatting, you'll find these options. There is Highlight Cell Rules. On Highlight Cell Rules, you can modify, you can put conditions such as greater than, for example, greater than a particular value, or less than. Less than, that is less than a particular value, say 50. Between, equals to, text that contains a date occurring, duplicated values. Then on the top stroke bottom rules, you're able to see items that occur in the top 10 items, meaning it will highlight cells that contain values that are in the top 10 category. Top 10%, it will highlight values that are within the top 10 percentage. Bottom 10 items, it's just the opposite of top 10 items. Bottom 10% is just the opposite of top 10%. Above average, we'll click on cells, we'll highlight on cells that are above the average value in relation to the data that has been entered in those cells. Below average, we'll highlight values that are below the average value. Okay, when it comes to database, you are able to, database enables you to highlight on data in a way, in such a way that data that contain higher values, they are more filled with database as opposed to those that have lower values. So we have the gradient fill and solid fill. The only difference is that solid fill, it has like a full solid color as opposed to the gradient that is looks like it's kind of a shade lighter, a mixture of the main shade and a lighter shade. Then the icon set enables you to also select on your data, and then you're able to give colors to certain data that contain higher values and another color to data that contain lower values. Let's practically see how we can conditionally format. So for example, in this data where we have numbers, text, and also text. So you have this data that contains numbers and text. When you want to do a conditional formatting, for example, of these numbers, we highlight the whole of this column. Then we come to conditional formatting. Then we go to highlight cell rules greater than. Wait, I prefer to select it from where the numbers start, because if you select it from up here, it will also highlight the word number. So let's select it from here 120 up to this 80. Then conditional formatting, then you highlight cell rules greater than. For example, you can say cells that are greater than 80. Then it has written here with light red fill with dark red text. So it will fill it with a light red color. Then you click OK. So these cells contain numbers that are greater than 80. Then when we want, let's see the other options. When we want to clear these rules that you've set, you just go to clear rules, that is down here. Then you clear rules from selected cells. Then let's try the other option on highlight cell rules. Less than is just the opposite of greater than. Between is between certain values, maybe between 20 to 90, equal to that equals to maybe 80 or 50. Then when you come to a text that contains, now this one will apply in text. We come and highlight this column that has text. Conditional formatting, then you go and say text that contains. Then it will bring you this dialog box. Then for example, you say that UK. Oh, wait. My data has automatically dragged. Let me kind of correct that. Then I try again. Okay, yeah. So I click conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. Then I say text that contains. I can say, for example, USA or even UK. Then I click OK. So it will be able to highlight for me to conditionally format the cells that contains UK. So there are two. Let's again clear. This is how we clear the rules. Clear from selected cells from this cells that I've selected, or clear rules from the entire sheet. It will enable you to clear rules from the entire sheet. Let's see the other conditional formatting options. Let's go to top bottom rules. Top bottom rules I will highlight on the top 10 items. Top 10 items on the top 10 item selection will enable the data set to automatically select itself in the choosing on the data set that are in the top 10. Yeah, or even you can say top 5. It will pick on the data set that will be in the top 5, the one that have the highest values when ranked from number 1 to 5. Then you click OK. So those are the top 5 values. When you want to clear the rules, you just come here and select clear rules from entire sheet. Let's see, top 10% will automatically select the top 10 percentages. Let's try it and see. So in the top 10 percentage is 120. 120 is my highest number. You can say the ones in the top 20. It continues to add more data to this top 10%. So they are basically data that will fit in the top 10 percentage or top 20 percentage, depending on the percentage you put. Let me cancel it. Let me see other options. Bottom 10 is just basically the opposite of top 10, and also bottom 10% is the opposite of top 10%. Above average will highlight all the cells that contain data that are above average, and they'll be filled with dark red. They'll be filled with light red. It's not a must for you to use red. You can even use yellow or green. There's no problem. Then you click OK. It will bring my cells highlighted in the color that I want. Let me again clear. Let me continue exploring the data bars and color scales option. On the data bars, we can have the gradient fill. We get to see that in this column, the row that has the highest number is close to totally filled, as compared to a row that has a lower value number. For example, this 20, it's lightly filled as opposed to 120. Let me clear it again. So solid fill is just basically what I've done with gradient fill, other than in the solid fill, it's wholly filled. It's not like slightly filled the way it was in the gradient fill. Then on color scales, let's see what happens. Let's first select and see. So in color scales is actually rarely used, and when you apply color scales, the color keeps on changing, and it's usually best used in numbers that are sorted. You can see my numbers are not sorted, so it's so hard to read what is happening. But when you have sorted numbers, like they have a format, they are like arranged in an alphabetical order, you're able to get to read the data and get to know what is happening, get to understand what is happening. Let me clear rules. Then let me clear it. Then let's try on the I concepts. I concepts, they're usually used in in different functionalities. For example, you can find in in mobiles, they like using this one to indicate maybe a lower one will indicate a lower battery percentage or something like that. So we can use this simple one, the 3-tier one, the simple one, where green, we can actually say that green is used to highlight the numbers that are at the very top, and they are facing up. They're used to, green is being used to highlight on values that are very high, and there are arrows at the top. And then for yellow, it is being used to highlight cells that have middle values. And then you're seeing red is used to highlight cells with lower values, and the arrows are down. For this one, the arrows are in the middle for the middle values. For the lower values, the values are facing down, and for the higher values, the arrows are on the top. So that is how we use icon sets. To clear we can clear this condition by, so generally how we clear the rules, the conditional formatting rules, you select on conditional formatting, then you select this clear rules option, and you clear rules from entire sheet or from the selected sheets. So that is how we do conditional formatting. So I want to continue and go ahead to talk about pivot tables. That is our main topic for today. Pivot tables. A pivot table is a summary of your data packaged in a chart that lets you report on and explore trends based on your information. They are particularly useful if you have long rows or columns that hold values you need to track the sums of and easily compare to one another. That is the function of pivot tables. And we usually have a 2-dimensional pivot table and a multi-level pivot table. A 2-dimensional pivot table is basically a pivot table that is created by adding just one field to the row area and one field to the column areas. So our objectives on pivot tables is we are going to see how to insert a pivot table, how to group pivot table items, how to group dates, how to filter, how to change summary calculations. Then a multi-level, it's just a pivot table that contains more than one field to an array in a pivot table. That means that maybe it contains multiple row fields or multiple value fields or multiple report filter fields. We're also going to see what a pivot chart is, which is a pivot chart is the visual representation of a pivot table. In Excel, pivot charts and pivot tables are connected with each other. Let's practically see how we can create pivot tables, and we can meet the objectives we have set for the pivot tables and pivot charts. So this is an example of a data that you want to use to create a simple pivot table. Let's start first by creating a very, very simple pivot table. So we have this data set where we have order ID, we have the products, we have the categories, we have the amount, we have the dates, and we have the country. So let's, in order for you to insert, you just click anywhere on your data set, even if it's one or here at carrots, you click here, then you click insert. When you click insert, we're going to see a pivot. There's an option for a pivot table. Then you select pivot table. It automatically identifies the ranges, the data set that the ranges that you're supposed to use. So it has highlighted my whole data set. And then there's this option for new worksheet. This enables me to create the pivot table in another new worksheet. I now want to build my pivot table. On your right, you'll see there's the pivot table fields appearing, and I'm supposed to now select what I want to appear in my simple pivot table. Now let me start with, let me put product. I'm going to show you how to drag or how to select these fields into the various areas. These are the areas: the filter area, the column area, rows areas, and the values areas. And these are the fields that you can add to these areas. So I've added product to the rows field, I've added product to the rows area. Then I'm going to add also value, the amount to the value area. And then in the filter category, I'm going to add country. So you see, after I've automatically selected country, this is how you drag a field to a certain area that you want. Sub to the filters area. Now this is a simple pivot table. This is what it looks like. So you have the rows labels, you have apples, banana, then the sum of amount, where we have the, like, let me say like the cells. Then this is the filter function. It enables me to get to see data for any particular country that I want. Let me say I want to just see data for Australia. I'll unclick all, then I just click as Australia, then I click OK. So this will be the data set for only Australia. If I want to see the sales outcome for another country, I just undo Australia and then go ahead and maybe click France. Then I click OK, then I will be able to see the data for France. So that is the work of the filter function. So let me show you how to change the summary calculation. So here we have the sum of amount. Let me change it to all first. So you right click any cell in the sum of amount section, and then I go ahead and select on value field settings. When I click on the value field settings, I have the sum which I am currently using. I can also put count. I can try and put count and see, then I click OK. So now that I've selected count, it's able to count for me the number of orders for the particular fruits and vegetables that I have on this table. For example, apple, we are having 40, banana 71, 13, 27, 27, 11, 24. We can also choose other summary calculations that you want through going to the value field settings and choosing, maybe you want average. You can just select maximum, minimum, products, standard deviation. You're able to select any variation that you want. Let me just stick to sum for now. Then I click OK. I now have my sum of amount back. Now I'm going to show you how to group data sets in a pivot table. So for example, I want to group apples and bananas in group 1, rest to group them to put them in group 2. So I'll highlight on apple and banana. After I've highlighted, I right click, then I select group. Then it has grouped it into group 1. Then I also want to put beans, broccoli, carrots, mango, and oranges in another group. I'm going to also highlight and then group them. Now I have group 1 and group 2. When I minimize it, I have group 1 and group 2 and this in this section. So that is how we group them. I can also ungroup through right clicking, and I select ungroup if I want to ungroup. So that is how we group that is how we group data sets. You can also group dates. That was just a way of grouping values. You can also group dates. Let me add dates. Let me add it to the column. So it has automatically gone to my rows, but I want to put it in the column. So this is how I drag it under the columns. Then when I want to group the dates, maybe into quarters, I just come and right click here. Then I click group. Then I want to select it. I want to group it according to quarters. Then I select quarters. Then I click OK. So I'm able to see quarter 1, quarter 2, and minimize them, quarter 3, quarter 4. So I'm able to have my dates grouped into quarters, and I'm able to easily read my cells in according to quarters. We're having quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So that is basically how you group items and how you group dates and how you drag the the fields to the different areas, and also how you filter them. Let's now, so that's just a simple pivot table. Let's go ahead and create a two-dimensional pivot table. A two-dimensional pivot table is a pivot table that contains at least one values in each of the areas. So let's go ahead and create one. I click insert pivot table. Then in a new worksheet, click OK. Then I now want to select the fields that I want to fit in the different areas. Now let's click country. I want country in the row area. Then let me click product. I want to drag this product to the column area. And let me also add values let me also add amount to the value area. And then let me add a filter, which is category. Let me add, it has gone to the row area. So this is how I'll drag it to the filter area. So this is an example of a two-dimensional pivot table. A two-dimensional pivot table is a pivot table that contains at least one field in the different areas. So this is an example of a two-dimensional pivot table. So from here, now that we have an example of a two-dimensional pivot table. If you want to make it a multi-level pivot table is where there is more than one field. In more than one field in the different areas, we are going to see how to achieve that. Meanwhile, let's use this two-dimensional to now go ahead and create a pivot chart. Let's see how we are going to now insert a pivot chart using this data. Now you click insert. When you click insert, you'll go under these charts, go for pivot chart. Then you click the chart that you want. Maybe you want a column, the clustered column, or maybe you want a pie one, or maybe you want a bar. So it depends. So let me basically go with column. Excuse me. Let me go with column, clustered column. Then I've clicked OK. So this is what my pivot chart will look like. So in this pivot chart, I'm able to filter what I want from, for example, since I had category as a filter, now I'm able to, if I want to put a fruit selection or a vegetable selection, I'm able to apply a filter. So for example, let me go with vegetables. When I click OK, the apples, bananas, and mangoes get to disappear. So I'm left with beans, a graph that is showing beans, bananas, and carrots. So that is how somebody filters on this pivot chart. Let me now try and filter so that I'm able to see fruits. Then I click OK. Now I'm only able to see a pivot chart that is indicating apples, bananas, mango, and orange, which are fruits. I can also select in a certain country. Maybe I want to see these fruits, the sales or the orders for fruits in a certain country. So I just click Australia, and I'm able to see the apple orders or the sales for apples, bananas, mangoes, and oranges in Australia. Or maybe I want to compare Australia to maybe Canada. Now I'm able to see my pivot chart that elaborates on my data for the sales of apples, all of the fruits that were sold in Australia and Canada. Now when I want to, maybe I didn't want to go for a pivot for the pivot chart. Now I want to change. Wait first. Maybe now I want to change the chart type. I didn't want this kind of chart. Maybe I wanted a pie chart. Now I'll click on the design, on the design tab, then I change chart type. I click OK. Now I'm able to see a pie chart for apples that were sold in Australia and Canada. So in the same way I did for the other graph, that is the same way you can also filter for the pie chart and other forms of graphs. Yeah, this is, I can also select for beans. Any product that I want, I'm able to filter it using these filters that have been placed here. Okay, now for example, you want to share this data with your boss, and your boss maybe doesn't know how to read pivot charts and pivot tables. You can make his work easier by introducing slices. Let's see what slices are first. So slices are used in Excel to quickly and easily filter pivot tables. Slices provide buttons that you can click to filter tables or pivot tables. In addition to quick filtering, slices also indicate the current filtering state, which makes it easy to understand what exactly is currently displayed. It is for easier understanding. For example, if you give a certain data to somebody who is not able to understand how a pivot chart or a pivot table works, when you put slicers, they are able to quickly read and interpret a certain data set or the outcomes. So let's see how we can work with slices. So for you to apply a slicer, you click any cell inside the pivot table. After clicking any cell inside the pivot table, on the Analyze, you go to the Analyze tab, and under the filter option, under this filter option, you indicate Insert Slicer. Then when you click on Insert Slicer, you'll be able to see a dialog box that offers you the different areas where you can apply that slicer. And so, for example, we can go with category. Then you click OK. These are the styles or the colors that the color options that I can apply. Maybe I want to use pink. So in the category, you will have fruits or vegetables. So when I click on fruits, when that person who doesn't know how to, or who is not able to use a pivot table well, they'll just automatically click fruits and they'll be able to see the data for fruits only, or vegetables, and they'll be able to see the data that represents vegetables. Let's again try to insert another slicer. I've said you click on any cell, then you go in there on the Analyze tab, you click on Insert Slicer. After clicking on Insert Slicer, we can say country. We can click on country, and we'll be able to add on the country slicer. Then you're able to select any color that you want, maybe green. Yeah, let's go with green. So if you want to see the cell outcomes or the cell outcomes for a given country, let's say, for example, for Australia only, you're able to see the data set that represents the cells for only the Australia, Australia. If you want to see for Canada, you're able to click on Canada and you'll get the data sets for Canada. So you're able to include as many slices as you want. So yeah, that is generally how to create a pivot table, how to insert a pivot table, how to filter, how to insert slicers, how to group and change summary settings. That is how basically we do it. So let's go ahead to the final part of this session, which is analysis tool pack, how to perform analysis, data management, and analysis for given data sets. So analysis tool pack. The analysis tool pack is an Excel add-in program that provides data analysis tools for financial, statistical, and engineering data analysis. To load the analysis tool pack add-in, for this will be required when you have never used you've never used maybe data analysis, so you automatically don't have the analysis tool pack. So in order for you to add it in, you go on the File tab, click on the options, under add-ins, select analysis tool pack and click on the Go button. So this is what it looks like. There's usually the file option at your extreme left. When you click, you'll be able to see these options. You click the add-in option. On the analysis tool pack, you click Go, then you click OK. Then you'll be able to add the you'll be able to use the analysis toolpack add-in function. Then on your data tab, now when you want to perform analysis, you'll be able to select data analysis that will help you in performing the different data analysis that you require. So when you click on data analysis, in response to the data that you have, you're able to see correlation, covariance, descriptive statistics, exponential smoothing, F-test, two sample for variances, Fourier analysis, histogram, moving average, random number generation, and rank and percentiles. So we are going to see an example of descriptive statistics, how we can perform a descriptive statistics. Okay, let me create data. So for example, you have this data set. Maybe there are scores for certain students in a class. That is just an example. So in my case, I already have the analysis toolpack add-in, so it won't require me to go and add it. So in my data tab, after you've added it, you'll be able to see the data analysis tool function. Let me first select my data set. Then I'm able to choose descriptive statistics. I click OK. Now I'm supposed to put my input range. Then I click OK. I'm supposed to tick summary statistics. Then I click OK. So in another sheet, I'm able to see my summary statistics.
Can we go back on how to choose descriptive statistics?
Hello. We're
Yes,
saying?
Oluwach.
Yeah.
Kindly go back on how to choose descriptive statistics, please.
How to click on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for example, you have this data set. For example, there are scores of students in a certain class. And I want to perform a descriptive statistics for this data set. I just go to data analysis. Then I click on descriptive statistics and click OK. Then I'm supposed to put an input range which has been automatically been selected for me, which is D3 to D11, which is my range. Then I'm supposed to click, it was not clicked, I'm supposed to click on the summary statistics at 95% confidence interval, then I click OK. Being that the new worksheet is highlighted, it will automatically perform the descriptive statistics in another different sheet. Then I click OK. So this is the outcome of my descriptive statistics. Yeah, so I think because I kind of guessed because I guessed the data from my head, I didn't capture mode, so that is why it is not applicable. But now I can get to see the mean for my data, the standard error, the median, the mode, which is not there because I didn't repeat any, then the standard deviation, the variance, the kurtosis, the skewness, the range, the minimum, maximum, sum, and the count. So that is how you can achieve descriptive statistics. So even if you want to perform other data analysis functionalities, you'll just click on data analysis, then you click on the type of data analysis tool you want to use. Maybe you want to do correlation or covariance, you just click and put the required ranges or the all the required functionalities that you're supposed to meet, then you click OK. Then you'll be able to perform any analysis function. So that is basically how I'm able to do my summary statistics. So that is basically what I had for today. Hope you are able to get something or grasp at least one thing, maybe from my pivot concerning pivot tables and pivot charts. That was my main agenda of the day. So I hope I've been able to explain it in a simpler way and in a more direct way that you're able to at least go home with something. I'm through with my presentation for today. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box.
So thank you so much, Alice. And I was initially at the meeting, then I stepped out to handle something else, and I'm now back. So we are happy that you joined our training today, and we hope that the session has been good in terms of just helping you understand how you can perform these analyses using Excel. I know Excel is a software that most of us have. Sometimes you may want to perform analysis and you're wondering, so how do I get data? Because most of the other softwares you have to pay for them before you can use. But then additionally, now we have an open source software, which is known as R. So you could either use R, you can now use Excel. So, but sometimes it helps a lot to have multiple skills in terms of the different softwares that you can use, because you could either be working in a particular environment where you maybe use Stata for your analysis, then you move into a new work environment where you're required to use R, and then sometimes you may be required to use SPSS. So it always makes a lot of sense to have skills in all these multiple softwares that you can use to achieve the common goal. We are happy that you joined us, and so now the floor is open. We have a few more minutes. If you have any questions, if you need any clarification, feel free and ask. And so in addition to conducting free trainings, we also have short courses that people pay for to come to class. And we would encourage you to take advantage. At the moment, we have a student package that is running for those who would want to learn more about the use of R software for data analysis. We have a package that is ongoing that is not for students. Usually we offer the course at about 45,000 shillings or 450 USD. But we have a discount that has been running where you pay, I think it's 25,000 shillings for the full course. That is for people who are not students. And then we have classes of between 15 to 20 students. Or you could take advantage of the student package. We have a student package for those who would want to take the course as a group. It's subsidized, and you'd only pay 5,000 Kenya shillings or $50. But you have to form a group of 25 to 30 students. And then once you have a full group, then you can take advantage and just be in touch with us and let us know. Then you will definitely be happy to train you. Additionally, we have a program where we will be offering scholarships to students, but students who are our champions. So if you want to be a student champion, you'd go and talk to your fellow students and let them come and join our trainings. Then we would definitely offer you a scholarship in one of the courses that we offer. We have a wide range of courses that we offer. The data analysis courses, the use of SPSS, Stata, R. We also train on different research methodologies if you want to learn more about qualitative methods, quantitative methods, if you want to know more about monitoring and evaluation, scientific writing, or if you want to go into the technical areas of just learning how to do systematic review and meta-analysis. We also offer that sort of training. So feel free and be in touch with us. But at the moment, if you have any questions, feel free and mute yourself and ask, or you could just type your question on chat, and Alice will be able to respond to your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ron. I'm looking at the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
There's Masharia Catherine Wanja, who is saying, will it be possible to send us the data set on pivot tables for more practice?
Yes, we will definitely share the data sets. So they will, I think we can, since it's not big data, we can zip all the data in a folder and then share. In addition to the recording from today's session, we have been recording the session, so we will still share the same. So that will be done. That will be done.
Okay. Then the rest, most of you are thanking me. It's my pleasure having taught you one or two things. Then there's, then Leila Njoki, you've sent me a private message, I've seen it. There's also Valentine Okello. Valentine, are you there?
Yes, I'm here on watch.
Yeah, could you please rephrase again your question?
My question is on how to create groups on data. For example, I saw you grouping beans, vegetables. Can you get back to the Excel sheet again so that I can tell you?
Okay. Okay, wait. I'm trying to escape. I'm trying to get to that Excel sheet. Give me a minute. Is it this one? I think
yes, it is this one, but now, before you did the grouping. Yeah, before you did the grouping.
Or can I do it again?
Yeah, maybe we can work with this. So
Okay.
for example, yes. For example, let's say we want to group items that are not close to one another. For example, let's say we want to group carrots and something down here.
Or how
can
to achieve that?
Yeah, because the other time I saw you just dragging the items that are close to one another and then grouping.
Okay, let me try to insert a pivot table. I see. I click on products.
Yes.
It went to the rows. Then let me click on values. Let me click on amount on values.
Perfect.
Then let me add maybe country as a filter.
Yes, this is what I wanted. So my question is, so let's say we want to group apples and oranges together.
Okay.
How can you do it?
Yeah. Okay. Let me do it first, then I explain.
Yeah.
So you press Control, then you left click apples, then again you go and left click on oranges. Oh, yeah. Then you right click, you go to group, then you're able to create a group for apple and oranges in one group. So you just select, you use Control and then left click, then you hold on your Control button and then go ahead and also click on oranges, and then you right click and you're able to group them. Is it clear?
Thank you, Oluwach. I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any more questions in terms of what has been done? I have seen suggestions by people who want to take advantage of the student package. Ruth is making a suggestion, I think, and Andrew, they are making a suggestions to form a group. So Ruth has put her number on the chat window. So her number is 0751 337178. So feel free and be in touch with Ruth. She will form a group, and once you get to the number that we require for the student package, then she will definitely reach out to us and we will organize the training. We'll also be sharing the number for our training coordinator shortly. And our email address, you will just send an email to info@the office. Then we will be able to get back to you. But Ruth, I think it would be important, since you are coordinating the student one, it would be important to have the contact for our training coordinator, at least so you will be in touch with us. So I'll just put her number. So what happens since the COVID-19 pandemic began? All our trainings have been done online using the same platform, where we make it interactive. We share our slides, and then we do practical sessions. So we move between our PowerPoint presentation and the software. And then what happens is that for all the students who are registered in the course, you will receive communication beforehand. If there are data sets we are going to use in class, we also share the same. And then after the sessions begin, and then we would also share the program. And then as the sessions begin, we make them very interactive. And then the other thing that we would definitely do is agree with the students on what time would work best for them. I think the cohorts that we have done, so far we have done 5 cohort trainings online. The first cohort was done like even during the day, but the other subsequent cohorts, a lot of the students requested that we begin most of our trainings during the week, in the evenings, like we would do from 5 to 8 p.m. And then over the weekend, we would have more training hours. So that, but then we spread our training over like a number of days or weeks to ensure that we cover the entire course content. So most of the students have preferred doing 5 to 8 between Monday and Friday. And then over the weekend, we would do like 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that we are able to cover in the sessions. And then even for the weekends, we take breaks because we cannot have people sitting for all those hours. So that is how we have been conducting our trainings. In case you need more information, be in touch with us. You can send us an email. We will be happy to assist you. So if there are more questions, we can ask, or you could still also follow up with your questions later by just sending us an email, drop us an email. You can either write to the training coordinator. You can also drop an email to me. In charge of, I'm heading research, evaluations, and training. So we'll also give my email address, and I'd be happy to also hear from you. So that is my email address. So you can either send an email to any of those, you can call us, and we will be in touch and share more information. But what we are committed to do is work more with students, because we realize that there are lots of gaps, even in terms of how students analyze their data, how they prepare their research projects, and we would wish to make a contribution either by giving scholarships to students who deserve and students who are our champions, or by offering subsidized training to target students from all the different learning institutions. And we definitely believe that we will be making our contribution in making Africa a better place with highly skilled people. Thank you. So if there are no more questions, I think we should come to the end of our meeting. And I would just wish to thank everyone who made it today. Maybe I'll also let Alice give her final words. But thank you everyone for responding, always responding. We will still continue to offer free trainings, and we'll also still continue to offer trainings that where people pay. But we are always happy to see you in our class. Go and tell the rest of the teams about your friends, your family, about CIVITRA research. And we have very highly skilled professionals who are working with us, and we are hoping that we will make our positive contribution to this society, and Africa will never be the same again. So thanks everyone. Alice, over to you for your final remarks, and then we can end our training.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Thank you for creating time to be able to join us through this Africa session. The prior session is actually available on YouTube. I think Ron will get to email you people with the link to the previous one, so that you are able to understand this better. So thank you so much. Continue sharing about CIVITRA with other people. And thank you for your positive response. Thank you for for at least sharing it with your friends and making time to attend this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So for anyone who would want to like get a link to the free session that was done before, I have just shared the YouTube link. It's available publicly. Anyone can go in and listen to the beginner training, and then this is the advanced. We also have it on our channel. So thank you.